right, what's happening, everybody? All right. Last training camp practice in a lot of ways. But over the last month, a couple things that came to mind as I was driving in thinking. I really appreciated the fans that came to see us over the last month. For the players, I thought the new parts of the facility was really effective for them. And knowing from locker room to training room to the things that, they needed, like tip my cap to Josh on that to make sure he provided that. And I thought just from a team standpoint, I haven't shared it with the players yet, but I thought they put a lot of work against each other. I thought this would be a competitive camp based on the roster that was coming in and going against each other to level it up to go. So I was pleased with that. We have a unique practice format today, so I'm glad you guys are here to watch. We have the NFL officials here, and we're also going to work a ton of situations today. It's really, you've heard us talk like winning time moments and how we do that. Just for an example, last season alone, we had 13 one-score games. We had around 20 or so, maybe 20 plus, 2-minute at the end of the halves, 17 or 18 2-minutes at the end of the game, counting either an offense or a defense. And so today you'll see us compete against ourselves, go against the clock, work different scenarios, and really try to pressure test ourselves to see, can that threshold be even lower? Can you get on the ball that much quicker? And so I'm kind of pumped to give that a go. This is the first time I'll be doing that with the entire NFL officiating crew and working these situations and the clock. So we do them at joint practices, but to have everybody here for one of just our practices, it's pretty cool. So we're going to really lean into that hard today in preparation really for the year to pressure test ourselves. Can we even get sharper? It's such a big part of what we do. We have a lot of confidence in those spaces, so let's test ourselves a little further today. All that said, get rocking with you guys. Sure. What do you want to discuss? So many topics. Yeah. That's a veteran right there. It's not his first rodeo. That for sure, and we've really added into the line too, John. And so we wanted to dig in to say what are some of the most effective things, from the line in terms of how we would use guys, which guys can pull and trap and do that. So adding some of the gap schemes to what we've done has been a big deal. And so we haven't had everybody all together, doing it all the time, but I'm pleased with the progress we're making. And you're right, when you do add Jaden into it, now it can be defending all 11, a good bit of the time. And so that definitely changes the math, from the defensive standpoint. But I think it's all around. I'm seeing the physicality of the receivers, downfield blocking. So by no means are we there all the way, but it does take a while to develop that, and I like where we're headed.
I'm curious that too, like guys like Noah Brown, where's he at, and how do you expect to make it out there soon?
Yes, let's talk with Noah. He's also kind of like pushing past the rehab portion of the strength side, and now like on the return to play, the accelerations, the decel. So yeah, he's close as well. And as he's targeting through this week and into next week, the arrow is certainly pointing really up for him, and we're pleased with where he's at. So yeah, good signs with Noah too.
As you wait to resolve, if you haven't already, the Brian Robinson situation, how do you counsel a guy like Bill Krosky-Merritt? Because, if B-Rob moves on, obviously he's going to be one of these bell cows.
You're right that, like you guys have seen it even over the last couple of days, a lot of moving parts this year with the NFL, well, not this year, every year around this time. As far as down the line, I really haven't gone there with Bill. And I really wanted to make sure, man, let's just dig in and, be present into this, and knowing I'll let down the road work from there. But this time of year is always funky for players, and the message I had told them yesterday, I know this is a difficult week, and I encourage them, don't think about next week this week. It's not going to help you perform better this week. And so looking at a roster, am I going to be on the 53 or the practice squad, or what do my odds look like? And so that was really the message I tried to give yesterday, because it's this funky space. There's some guys that are already on the roster, some that are fighting for it. So I just tried to make that, hey, this is normal. Like everybody has these same emotions, but can we bring it back to be grounded and present into what we're now? So I haven't gone too far ahead with Bill or many of the other players just yet.
I think with the schedule, we'll talk to you after Saturday's game. What will you guys – you certainly have an idea of who you want to keep.
Right.
What will your coaching staff go through after that game with the guys having a couple days off and then the cut down?
Yeah, Adam and the staff had a big personnel meeting with us this week where we reviewed, games and where people are at. And so each of the coaches, goes through each position and through each player. And it's helpful, because you're not in every meeting room. You're not, in every spot. So we did have that this week. And then this week we'll have some more evaluations. And then Adam, will huddle everybody up as well. And then think of the two spaces of the 53 and the 70. And as everybody would know, the roster is also, it's a little fluid as it even starts, the earliest part of the season. I can remember, the first being in the NFL, hearing Bill Walsh say that. And at the time, I didn't really know what he meant, as I was in my rookie coaching season. But now, 25 years later, I get it. And it's still pretty true today, of how that works.
Dan, John asked you about Noah Brown. Sounds like he's trending in the right direction for week one.
Correct.
Obviously, Terry is still out, and injuries happen over the course of the year. From the outside, it seems like there's some decent uncertainty with the wide receiver depth. Where are you at with that group right now?
I liked what I saw. You probably saw in the game, we worked Jalen some outside. And so I thought he's one, Ben, that I see the ascension taking place. You can often feel it from the coaching point into the drill, onto the field. He can apply it very quickly. So we saw Luke outside, Jalen outside, and that was by design to make sure, all right, what else, where are we at? Chris Moore will also be one that'll work back into today and into the game this weekend. So that's where we're at. We like where Noah and Terry are trending towards, but like you said, you want a contingency plan for everything, and that's why we decided to work some guys outside and inside, so that's what we've done.
And in terms of the backfield, obviously Brian was the short yardage guy. He was very effective in that role. It's easy to say, hey, Chris Rodriguez has that style. Is that kind of how you view it? He's the guy that's likely to be that short yardage, maybe goal line back?
Yes, and I would say there's also parts of our offense that are a little bit untraditional, where we're not, traditional and using a lead blocker sometimes in short yardage. So, but I do like knowing that Chris has that tackle breaking ability, and especially in a small space. But yeah, I would say that would be one that's at the front of the thinking first.
Good afternoon, Coach.
Good afternoon, Dave.
I know you said you guys spent a lot of time as a coaching staff this offseason, also working to get better. Is there an assistant coach or even more who have really stood out this training camp period to you and seen that growth?
Probably the highlight for me, and not to highlight one, but people going into new roles during the Burgundy and Gold scrimmage for us. So Cliff and Joe were in the head coaching roles. It was Brian and Jason and Tommy Donatel into new spots. So that 2-day window provided a lot. And it was really cool to see people step into new spots. Shane Tobe is one as a line coach, man, he's on it. And so to use that as an example along with others, it was helpful for me to see that we got a big, deep crew, and the succession planning of who's here and what they could do. You have to test that as well. And so that was an effective 2 days for us.
And for talking to Quan Martin before he got the preseason action this last Monday night, I know for him, getting those first game reps and hits on those shoulders was a big moment for him. To see him kind of just go for it and not really be hesitant and then come out of it obviously clean. How important is that for you, but then also for the player?
For those of us that know Quan, did you really think he'd hesitate? And he is as tough as it gets. But I did talk to him before the game, and he was excited, and we wanted to have that moment before the regular season to make sure the contact, and for anybody who's coming back from an injury or a surgery, like there is that first hit jitters. Okay, this is normal. This is how it's supposed to feel. So it was an important part of it. But if you saw maybe on the tackle that he made down on the 1 yard line, there was not an ounce of hesitation or finish about him. But he has quietly also become really one of the leaders around here. And you've heard us talk about developing leaders. I think Quinn might be up near the top of that. You hear us talk about, a Revo or Tress or somebody that had this established leadership, and now my job is to see the leaders in others, and Quann's somebody that comes to mind in my mind on that. Like, he is definitely becoming a voice here that is really strong and very well heard in the locker room.
Hey, Coach, so last day of training camp, and I think I asked you this question last year as well on the last day of training camp.
Oh, my gosh, I got to go get the transcript.
Which is there anything keeping you up at night right now? I mean, there's always room for improvement all the time on everything, right? But is there anything that you're like, man, I wish we could have nailed that during camp?
Yeah, it's funny like that. The things that are going good don't keep you up at night. It's the things that you're struggling with and stressed about to go. So this time of year, it's the roster and giving insight to Adam and to his team to make sure we're nailing it, the right playing time at a practice or a game for the evaluations to get there. Fortunately, we've hit a lot of the things that stressed me out. Is the team ready for these end-of-game moments? And so last year we were new together, and so it was also new for me communicating with Cliff and Joe and Larry in game. We're going to go for here on fourth if it gets to 1, 2, or 3. So for me, having another lap at that all through camp, that's been good. So my biggest stressor is just providing the right information, getting the right looks, and it'll be a tough team for the 53. Tough decisions for sure, but as a coach, that's also what you want. To say, man, these are some really tough decisions. And so I'm definitely looking at those, and that's what's keeping me up.
And you mentioned that yesterday you talked about the different displays of brotherhood that you saw on Monday night. And Jaden shared with us about getting the touchdown ball for Bill. And he said that Zach and Terry did the same thing for him.
Who did?
He said that Zach and Terry did the same thing for him last year.
Right on.
That's what Jaden shared. And so, okay, I guess that's new news for you. Maybe you didn't know.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I know his first touchdown pass was to. Mm-hmm. I do remember that. But I don't remember it from the preseason. That's cool.
And so, but witnessing what you did, watch Jaden do that for Bill, how did that make you feel as the head coach?
One, I wasn't surprised that it was him. I didn't know that he was doing it, and then he was going from one referee to the next to make sure he had the exact ball. So I think it's an example of like who Jaden is, and it's a nice thing to pass down to someone else too. Hopefully, Bill can put himself into that spot one day. And those are the things from players to players, peer to peer. When you see it, you just know what it looks like. And I saw a lot of it in the game. I saw, like I said, Jonathan Jones in a rain jacket on the sideline coaching guys up. So the environment that we've created here through the players is like, one, like, can they really push it to be excellent? But there's also just random acts like that. Like, Jade's an exceptionally good dude, and so like he wasn't going to miss that moment. It had nothing to do with teaching Bill. He was just like wanting to celebrate with him. So there were a lot of people that would have done it, but I'm not surprised it was him. It was so clear that he remembered that moment, and I think that's a cool way to pay it forward. And hopefully another person who's a rookie can pass it on to another rookie as a yearly tradition. That's pretty cool.
Hey, Coach, in looking back at the second game a little bit on defense as far as the containment around the edges, what did you see there?
Burrow can be a tough one to get down. Like, he is real athletic in the pocket and out. I did like the finish, Donna, on one of the sacks where the coverage downfield had to be strong too, because if he escapes and throws it down the field and you're looking at the quarterback, you got trouble. The other one that came back as a foul was on Wise. And on that one, just for like the knowledge of it, where he had grabbed Burrow, when you're inside the tackle box, the horse collar foul is legal. When the quarterback leaves that tackle box, even if you had control in when he leaves the tackle box, the horse collar rule goes back into effect. So that was like a little bit of a tricky one to go. But I thought early on I felt it better than later into the rushes. I thought Andre Jones had some good later. But as far as containment goes, Joe's a problem in a lot of ways. He's super challenging to coach against. But we knew he'd be moving around in the pocket to remain a passer, and that's certainly what he did. All right, thanks, everybody. See you out there.